For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Hear silence, then pure confusion. When real youth gets the real thing, where truth from inside does rise within. The most monitored show on radio. We're fearless, we're tough, we're ready to go. Up spin, down spin, front spin, back spin. Anyhow you twist it. New spin, dealing true spin. Up spin, down spin, front spin. No matter how you turn it, no spin. voting of any disguise. We cut things through all them politics and lies. So whether you're red or yellow or blue, if your touch don't match, we're coming for you because the people deserve the truth, not wreck and hypocrisy. Upspin, downspin, frontspin, backspin, anyhow you twist it, we deal in true spin. Upspin, downspin, frontspin, backspin, no matter how you turn it, it's the true spin. Upspin, downspin, frontspin, backspin, anyhow you twist it, we deal in true spin. Upspin, downspin, frontspin, backspin, no matter how you turn it, it's the true spin. The most monitored talk show in the world.
In my days as a radio announcer, after this track, I would say a cleaner sound, a fresher mix, and the best variety of music. Welcome to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, and that is NewsSpin. It's on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. Please like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the NewsSpin channel grow. My name is Timothy Poleon. We'll be together until 2 o'clock this afternoon alongside Jante. She's already going through the comments in the chat rooms, and she'll be sharing the contents with us. Of course, I'll be taking your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Hope you're having yourself a fantastic Friday. Now, there's been this major meeting that has been taking place in St. Lucia. It's the regional leaders and CIP officials meeting on the island, and that is for Caribbean Investment Summit 2026, CIS 2026. And of course, the focus is the much talked about Citizenship by Investment program. Launched in 2015, but came into effect in 2016. In other words, selling of our passports for thousands of dollars, selling our patrimony for thousands of dollars. And that is a mode of operation that has been frowned upon by a small section of the St. Lucian society, but more so by the former Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, ever since the sale of our passports have taken place, there's been some detractors. You want to call them detractors? Or some people have been calling on the authorities in St. Lucia to ensure that they practice their required due diligence. Ensure that there isn't any kind of corruption, any kind of bobble, any kind of abuse. And one individual who has led that charge would be the much hated Philippe Martinez, among others. But let's listen as that conference in St. Lucia was addressed this week by the head of the CIP unit in St. Lucia, Mr. McLeod Emmanuel, as well as Investment Minister Dr. Ernest Hilaire. And after that, we'll be doing some analysis.
The credibility of one program inevitably influences confidence in the wider region. At the same time, our jurisdictions matter and continue to navigate heightened international scrutiny involving evolving regulatory expectations and global pressures that test the resilience, stability, and long-term sustainability of the citizenship by investment industry. The reality requires coordination. It requires discipline. It requires alignment.
I would have preferred to see a commission as a sub-entity of the OECS that will be a regulator, but more than a regulator. It would be an entity that does research on CBIs, that tracks the impact of CBIs on our national development process, that will engage in deep thinking about the future of CBIs and how our program should evolve and be structured to ensure maximum impact. And we must be able to assure our international partners the level of collaboration that will exist. We must be able to say that if a promoter is being delinquent in one jurisdiction, there will be no space in another jurisdiction. We must be able to say that we will not tolerate some of the practices that occur in the marketing and promotion of programs internationally. And that anyone that defaults against one will default against all.
So now, analyzing what you just heard there, in particular from the investment minister. If you have a delinquent promoter in one CBI territory, he ought not to be performing or he ought not to be operating in another CBI territory. Speak about coordination, discipline, alignment, regulating the CBI, and talking about deep thinking about the future of the citizenship by investment program. Not a word about Philippe Martinez. You know why? And just understand, understand exactly the message that is being conveyed by the likes of the investment minister, among others, and the industry players. It is that an admittance that there are problems with the citizenship by investment program in the Caribbean, an acknowledgement that there are issues. But on the political front, you would hear from those same players while they're in the hustings in the run-up to a general election that those individuals, people like Martinez, and I'm not here to defend Martinez, I'm here to contextualize this whole thing. We heard the comments that were made by him. We heard the criticism. We heard the reaction from the authorities in St. Lucia. We have had a general election, and now we have CIS 26. And what do you read out of this? The observations that were made by persons who were deemed to be detractors were legitimate. They were called for. Because if an individual is criticizing your CIP program and those criticisms are unwarranted, what do? You ignore them. You totally ignore them. You turn a blind eye to that criticism. You brush it off. But you don't legitimize it. And many of you would not have seen this. You don't legitimize it by basically enumerating those same concerns, itemizing those same issues at a conference. What you heard from Dr. Ernest Hilaire regarding CIP, you've heard those same issues before. You've heard it only from an individual you don't like, you despise, and you've leveled all kind of unwarranted criticisms at him. But now, what is happening is you've gone to the drawing board, and what you are in effect doing is acknowledging that those concerns were legitimate. You are bringing them out to the fore as if they are original issues, they are coming from yourself, and you are putting them forward as recommendations that should be utilized. That's exactly what is happening. Because if we had a CIP program in the Caribbean that certainly were not warranted of being scrutinized, I think that that meeting would not have taken place in St. Lucia this week. And so never mind how people react to criticism sometimes, especially politicians. Watch their actions. Pay attention to their actions. And the likes of the European Union, the United States and other players, those that have been reacting to the CIP and the concerns that they've had in that people of questionable character are using this program as a conduit to travel to other countries, then in effect, those countries, the likes of the US and the EU, would not have paid much attention to Martinez and others if they did not believe that the issues that were raised were valid. And so as much as you might hate him, the individual, some of you would have taken particular note of his history, his reputation, and he has paid a price for it based on what I've read. Certainly, we owe, whether you like it or not, we owe a debt of gratitude to the likes of Martinez, Philip Martinez. And of course, I can help but again make reference to the late Lisa Joseph and the several interviews she conducted and the many programs that she produced and that you were exposed to, and of course, which subjected her to attack after attack, even references made to her health. Which takes me to our NewsSpin question of the day. And the NewsSpin question of the day, it reads, why are Caribbean ruling political parties winning so convincingly at the polls? And it must account for something. And I know that many supporters of those parties, particularly in St. Lucia, will narrow it primarily to the remarkable performance of those parties, in this case, the St. Lucia Labour Party, while it has been in office, in terms of its performance and in terms of, therefore, the fact of how it has acquitted itself and dealt with some of the challenges confronting the people of St. Lucia. Well, it is obviously more complicated than that. The use of state resources to buy votes, to treat, and people don't like that, There's a reason why, as far as the Election Act is concerned, there should not be the buying of votes, or what we call treating. But politicians will use subtle and creative means to use state resources to buy votes. And if a politician gives you plywood, in some cases by tanks of gas for you, LPG, some cases give you contracts and contract after contract. Because remember, the monies that are being utilized to undertake various projects and therefore to give certain influential people in the various communities contracts, that's state resources. You think politicians will take their own money, their private resource, financial resources, and just dish it out, hand it over to people in various constituencies so that they can win their support? They don't make those kind of investments. And even when they do, they definitely know where they will be recouping those funds. And it's a case of getting it back from you, from your pockets. Indirectly getting it from the state. So we have a few responses to that question, that NewsSpin question of the day. Once again, why are Caribbean ruling political parties winning so convincingly at the polls? And somebody says, if Chas' name is not mentioned, you all hacks are not happy. Go and enjoy your free jazz ticket. Buy us. Another person says, because the opposition has nothing tangible to offer the masses. Because basically, what material you can offer to entice the voters. That's what it takes, And a dangerous precedent has been set. Don't know about Dominica, I can't talk about Antigua and St. Kitts and so on, but in St. Lucia, people no longer support political parties primarily because of the policies. What your policies can do for an individual or for the country long term is what you can do for the people instantaneously. And this is reflected in the voter turnout. The 2025 general election in St. Lucia, a voter turnout of 48.45%. That's not even 50. That's not 50%. People are not really interested in politics to the extent that they're going to vote for an individual primarily because of what that individual stands for, their policies, their ideology, and the potential that they display as far as what they can do for that citizen and the country as a whole. It's what you can do for me. So the turnout in the 2025 general election, 48.45%. There's also the 2021, 51.08%, 2016, 53.45%, 2011 general election, 56.84%. In Antigua, the last election there, just last week, the turnout 62%. So you're not getting a significant number of people turning out to the polls. Your 70% and your 80% and your 90%, dream on if that's what you want. So, political parties are being elected into office through what? A minority of the section of the society, the voting population. Those individuals who I believe in the main who are hacks, and generally speaking, those individuals who support candidates and political parties because of what they can get. And no sooner a candidate cannot deliver personally to an individual, just go and read on Facebook. As has been happening over the last few days. People are quarreling for what? Jazz tickets? You're quarreling because a politician did not give you a complimentary ticket to attend shows that are linked to the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival. You're quarreling for that. You did so much. You put your life on the line and you can't get a complimentary ticket, and you have realized, you have observed that other people are getting complimentary tickets, and that is causing you to be so incensed, to be so disappointed in your MP, in your Prime Minister, in your party. That's what it takes. So let us hear now from regional political pollster Peter Wickham, who also attribute the victories to weak opposition parties in the Caribbean.
I would say that the reason that we're having a lot of electoral activity is because leaders have an option to call elections early. That's one of the key features of our political system, that an election is called or can be called within 5 years or at the time of the choosing of the leader. As a result of that, leaders have the flexibility to go at a time that's more convenient to them. We've seen a series of relatively weak oppositions, and as a result, governments are pursuing opportunities to essentially get themselves reelected because when they look at the global environment, there seems to be a horrible wind blowing our way in respect of increasing oil prices and the ability to cope. All of us in the Caribbean import inflation. Inflation is imported where we take prices from overseas. So where there's an increase in energy, we're going to be paying additional cost. And as a result, it makes good political sense to minimize that risk by calling an election before the impact of the Gulf War hits home. in a situation where you have the opportunity. And I think that in terms of the recent electoral activity across the region, that's probably one of the primary factors. The cost of living is high. People are concerned that it will be harder to become elected when it gets higher.
Peter Wickham, regional pollster, speaking on why the governing parties are winning election after election, and convincingly at that, over the last few elections that we've had in the Caribbean. Yes, also we have to take into consideration that the political parties are calling the elections ahead of schedule. In Antigua, 18 months before the elections were due, and we know what happened in the case of the St. Lucia Labour Party, indeed over about a year before the election was due in St. Lucia. But opposition political parties, no doubt, would have to confront this head on, would have to deal with that new reality. It's not a case of just giving in, capitulating to the whims and fancies of governing parties, because as far as the Constitution is concerned, they have the final say in setting the date for a general election, that you yourself should not to try to create certain advantages. There's one political individual who said just recently that you cannot bounce back from the outcome of a general election where you have lost 16-1, referring there to the outcome of the last poll in St. Lucia. But we have to remember what transpired in 1997. In 1997, the SLP won 16-1, right? 16-1. And by the time the next general election was due in 2001, and I don't know if you can recall that there's a attempt that were being made between the late George Odlum and deceased Sir John Compton to form a political party, of a united political party, joining the forces to contest that general election. And had it worked, I'm sure that political outfit probably would have won that general election. In the end, the UWP got only 3 seats to the SLP's 14, and by 2006, the United Workers' Party was back in office. This individual I'm referring to, who said that you can't bounce back from 61, is Elwin St. Rose, speaking just recently with Andrew Paul on that radio station, Rev Up St. Lucia. We'll be getting that clip prepared in just a bit. Just bear with us, and you'll be hearing Mr. Elwin St. Rose when he appeared on that program, What's on Your Mind, just a couple of weeks ago. What he said. In fact, what he said is that you can't bounce back from 16-1, which is not true. All right, let's open the lines right now to take your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. If we have this clip already, we'll play it for you. I think it's ready now. Let's play the clip.
Remember, you said a while ago it's 16-1, and it's very difficult to come back from something like that.
You don't come back from that. You don't come back from that.
Because remember, you said a while ago it's 16-1, and it's very difficult to come back from something like that.
You don't come back from that. You don't come back from that.
Of course, as I said early on, that is not true. You can't come back from, even if it's 17-0, you can't come back from that. The SLP can prove this through what has happened in the past. Likewise, the United Workers' Party in terms of the outcome of previous general elections. We open the lines right now to take your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979, along with your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. And of course, in just a moment, Jante will be able to go through some of your comments in the chat room. Via WhatsApp, somebody says that, Tim, don't forget Barbados' government called early general elections and won. No opposition in Barbados. And the person says further weak opposition parties may have contributed to the government's victory. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, you don't defeat oppression by pretending it doesn't exist. You defeat it by recognizing it, organizing against it, and refusing to cooperate with a system that depends on your silence. That's what PJP is doing in our country. All right, let's find out what's happening in the chat room. Jante, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Tim. Starting off on YouTube. Our first comment reads, Ernest, how many passports have you sold for Galaxy? The government of St. Lucia is required by law to produce a report of the sales of the passport by a certain date. The report was several months late, and the auditors could not sign off on the report. Without an auditor's signature, the CIP reports are as good as a roll of paper. Another YouTube comment here is saying the journalists refuse to ask the government the hard questions because all they're after are free jazz tickets. Moving to Facebook, our first comment reads, continue the great job that you're doing in putting facts out, no matter how uncomfortable it may make some people feel. Timothy, it's my grandmother, Rachel Stanislas of Chozel's 106th birthday today.
106. Well, happy birthday to you, ma'am. I hope that you celebrate at least another 100 years. So it'll be 206 years old. But 106 might be, certainly in the history of St. Lucia, the person who have lived the longest on the island ever. Anyway, congratulations to you, ma'am. I have no doubt you will have yourself an enjoyable birthday.
St. Lucia right now is the headquarters of corruption. We have another comment saying, we will not tolerate some of the practices that we are practicing. Things change now, so there's another way to talk about the CIP. What is the transparency? Another comment reading, Hila is the master of speaking the truth in public while practicing something else in private. Tim, they cannot do as they were doing before with the CIP. That's why they are trying to choose their words. Say it again, Tim. We have another comment reading, the problem with the majority of our slow IQ population is that we have a disdain to the truth and a love for lies. Hence the reason we have such a government in St. Lucia right now. Tim, play that clip by Hila again. I want to hear and understand clearly what he said. Martinez was the whistleblower on the CIP situation, and they vilified him for doing so. We have more comments from our Facebook page saying, at least the UK is changing course. Remarkable at fooling us. Tim, just now people will not buy passports anymore. We have another comment reading, voters empower politicians. The Constitution makes it official. Why on earth do we treat politicians like gods? We the voters are their bosses. They should answer to you, not the other way around. Tim, the majority of people voted for jazz tickets, so they're right to quarrel if the MPs do not deliver. Wow. They should have just given St. Rose his $500 back. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Jante, for that update. Some more still to come. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You on the air?
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Tim, so I have two scenarios here for you. But one is I'd like to recognize Mr. Joachim Joseph of T2 Blanchard. This is an elderly gentleman. Actually, he grew up together with my father. This gentleman is one of the long-lived folk persons that you get still around. He could have sing all those Creole songs you could have heard in the La Wars and around Christmas time. He's also one of the few older folks that remembers the old-time stories them. And it was my intention to actually have him to say some of those songs that I could record it, but I have not come around to that yet. But he's better known as Mr. Lufa or Captain Lufa of T2. This gentleman has contributed a lot to our local, art form. Though he has gone on, unrecognized, but he's still alive. So, though bedridden, I'd like to recognize him for his work. The other thing, Tim, if you bear with me, I'd like to address the layman's men in the society, so that they would understand this simple reason why the Labour Party, as you have put it this week, why it seems that there's a red movement, or the Labour parties in the region have been winning. So I did a little training team a long time ago called Who Moved My Cheese? And it is about, let me put it plain, we had JQ's and the Valmos. Now these two companies were known for their brands team. They were a bit more costly, but they were known for their good brands. And if you wanted a good brand, you could have gotten it in that place and it would have lasted you long. But along came the SNS and the China stores, and what they did, they were able to provide the same things but in a cheaper format or cheaper brand thing, but the same product actually. So you could have gotten a cheap shirt. These places you could get a cheap pan. It would have lasted you maybe quarter the amount of time that the pans that JQ and Valmo would have given you, but it was a pan nevertheless. And so it was able to meet the pockets of the average man. It was not long-term thing, but they would rather go and buy one every 3 months and know that they can afford it than to go and buy one by Valmo or JQ, knowing that it would last them for years, but it was a bit costly. And so I would like to equate that with SLP and UWP. You have the UWP party team that is offering services that will benefit the country and everybody on the whole, that will bring the country to a higher heights, a better standard of living. But the SLP is offering something that they know people want now. They don't care how short it is, how fast it will finish, but they want it now, Tim. And so this is what the Labour Party have understood, and this is the reason why they are winning elections. But Tim, should the UWP compromise its position or compromise its belief and standards and say, I will now do the same thing the Labour Party is doing just so that I can win elections, Tim? Is that the right thing to do? Because this is what the trend is today.
Caller, if you have to go based on the analogy that you just presented there, in that era that you're making reference to there are individuals who could have purchased high-end stuff, and also there are other individuals who did not care about the name brand because it was all about them being able to afford something, even though it would not last for as long as the name brand that you made reference to. Don't you think that in the case of the politics, you have to put yourself in a position to cater to both the sophisticated voter as well as the voter who is looking for some kind of immediate gains to address their needs? Because the whole issue is about survival, and maybe that's what the SLP has been able. Maybe that's what the SLP has been able to achieve during the space of those two general elections. Is that what it is?
Let me just explain that part to you. So the United Workers' Party is doing the same thing, but it is being done in a different format. And let me use live examples for you, Tim. When the United Workers' Party created those jobs that was in Beaufort. So you're talking about Ojo's, ITEL, the work on the airport, the horse race track, St. Jude's, where you had the fresh start that was employed all the local people. You had they were getting prepared for the marina team. They had people surveying the water already. You had all of these things happening. You know what was happening to somebody like me who did not want to work for people anymore? With me being self-employed now, I was able to thrive, in other words, because of the level of people that was working, I was able to sell more. Now, underneath the Labour Party, a lot of the people and the way they are thinking, they don't see it that way. they see it as, let me give you those little perks right there. You understand? So people think they're getting a direct benefit, but really and truly, it's like air in your hands. It finishes a lot faster. You know, it's the mentality of the people that needs to change to a point to realize that, look, what the Labour Party is offering me, really and truly, Tim, it is not, it's not, how you give me the word?
What, sustainable?
Right. Because you give step on all of those things. All of that is good things, Tim. But what they are doing, they are relying on those things, which is not bringing the country from point A to point B. You can have those things, but you need to create the employment. Get investors in that will create employment that will generate economic activity so everybody can benefit. So, for example, you have a hotel building in the south. In the south where there's already not much work, you have a big hotel building in the south. How many local employees are there? You understand? So the government's supposed to see to it that whoever is building that hotel employs at least 60% of the locals. But I don't even think they have 1%. And these are the kind of things that especially the people from the south is not seeing.
But let me ask you, Colin.
You understand?
In the interest of time, let me ask you. How do you think that the United Workers' Party can beat the St. Lucia Labour Party at its own game and win the next general election? Is that ever possible? Because a party wants to win a general election. Now, I'm not saying at all cost. Okay, I'm not saying that it must compromise its values. But how can, if it intends to, win the next general election, bearing in mind what it's up against in terms of the tactics that are being employed by the SLP?
Can I be diplomatic and say I don't want to answer that?
Well, I don't think you have a response to that question.
The mentality of the people is what that needs to change. And if the mentality of the people change to see what benefits them, you know, I think that will give the United Workers' Party a better outcome.
No, that's not the job. That's not the job of the voter. That's not the job of the voter to change his mentality.
I will be diplomatic and I will not answer that.
It's the opposition that must be able. It's the opposition that must be able to convince the people that what we have to offer you is better than what you're being.
I get that thing.
Than what you have been buying from the SLP.
So that is the job of the party to put their things in her house in order and to know exactly what they need to do to win the next general election. So I can't give you the answer to that.
Okay. All right, sir.
Have a good day.
You too, sir.
But our mentality needs to change because the short-term thing is not working for us.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's see if you have a call on the line. In the meantime, we have a WhatsApp message which reads, can you please let Wasco know that the people in Mornier want to bathe, cook, and clean, please? And as a message we've just sent out to the Water and Sewage Company, and it's coming from somebody who's either watching or listening to the program. Can you please let Wasco know that the people in Mornier, they want to bathe, cook, and clean, please? And let us see if we have a WhatsApp message. And somebody says there, Tim, I'm not sure your last caller's analogy to SNS and JQ can apply to our politics. The UWP has not understood the electorate. They are not grounded, have ignored the youth, and have become very unattractive. The mentality of the people? You see exactly what I mean? Blame the people, not the party. And that's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have some more of your messages. Tim, it's good for them. They must learn. Shame on them. Those SLP hacks, all they vote for is handouts. Vote for color. Don't even have an idea why they vote. And another WhatsApp message. Well said, my brother. This is the trick of the SLP. It is true most of them like freeness. We have a call via WhatsApp. Hello. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you. I'm okay, caller. How about you?
I'm fine. Fine for the moment. Tim, I want to speak a bit about the the CIP program, something I think that we have seemingly forgotten in the recent past, although I consider this to be one of the most important things that ever took place in St. Lucia. I was observing this week the videos of the conference that's taking place in St. Lucia. And all the good and the great from St. Lucia were present at that conference. And they were augmented by very well-dressed people from overseas and all the glitz and the glamour. And then we had all the fancy speeches from the politicians locally and so on. And I am reminded by an event I attended in St. Lucia many years ago when Alan Stanford came to St. Lucia. And there was a cocktail party, I recall, at the Royal St. Lucian to welcome him to St. Lucian, the Chamber of Commerce, and everybody came out there. And I remember attending that, and I asked him a question. I don't quite remember the question, but it was centered basically around his background. And the manner he responded then did not convince me that he was real. And I am not claiming that I'm any clairvoyant person, but my alarm bells went off in my head. And we know what happened to where Alan Stanford was. Right now, we go back in history and we look at all those big conmen. Bernie Madoff. You may have heard about Bernie Madoff.
Yes.
He stole $64.8 billion in that region, right? Before he was stopped. There was Sam Bankman-Fried not so long ago, a young guy, FTX cryptocurrency exchange. This guy even met the Pope. Young fellow, not even 30. $10 billion.
Yeah.
Then there was the Enron scandal that started off the whole thing in the States. You go through all these things, and it keeps on happening again, but always the people are extremely well-dressed, presenting themselves beautifully. But there are also people involved in that business, and these are the people we tend to ignore. We tend to ignore the Martinezes, right? We tend to ignore Rijok. Remember there was a guy called Rijok. What's his first name? Kenneth Rijok.
Yeah.
The reformed, he was a money launderer, I think. And there was another one on the States, a fellow called Sean Muller. Recently, I saw that the Association of Fraud Examiners in the U.S., they're having a 37th conference this year. And who is the speaker at that conference? Sean Muller, this convicted fraudster who I think stole about $40 million and so on. We do not ignore these guys. These people are the people who understand the workings of these that business, and they can guide us, the rest of us, as to direction things are going. Now, in the case of what's its name, the CIP, the essence of this thing in my mind, and I'm talking purely as an auditor, the essence of my mind is one of the things we speak a lot about, internal controls. And the internal controls mean essentially you don't allow the same person to handle or be in charge of all aspects of any business. For example, if you are going to be selling an item that revolves around giving people credit, you do not give, if you have somebody in charge of the credit sales, you do not give that person authority over the collections of the payments on accounts, because the opportunity for disguising whatever is going on is there. Neither would you put that same person in charge of bank reconciliations, because then you're really creating a pot where you will not be able to get out of it. This is what has happened in the case of the CIP and the involvement of Galaxy. Galaxy is out there. They were supposed to have built a hotel. They were collecting the monies for the passports, and then they were going to build a hotel. And afterwards, actually, they switched from being just this kind of contractor to somebody who's doing the marketing. They were finding the investors. So in the end, they were controlling every aspect of the transaction. And to compound it, they were authorized by whom I don't know to keep the money. I remember Hilaire said that the money all belongs to Galaxy, to keep that money. So you have one group of persons who are doing all the transactions, right? And nobody can see inside there because we don't even know where the money is. We don't know if reconciliations are taking place. We know absolutely nothing. And to compound it further, Hilaire says that he must get their permission to give us what he calls commercial information. Now, when you look at that, how can you blame anyone? And how can you blame any professional person for thinking something is wrong there? And it has to be wrong, Tim, because for the simple reason that very few people are going to find themselves being given a gift a gift right in their hand like this, and not do something along the road to pay for the opportunity to get that gift. We have to ask ourselves, who is doing the receiving? And no matter what happens going forward now, we will always remember the CIP as the opportunity lost to St. Lucia to stop us from taking loans that are going to be paid all the way down by your great-grandchildren. This is what we face now. The hospital, the airport, the roads, all of these things could be paid off from the proceeds of all that money that has gone lost in respect of the CIP. I do not believe all is lost, because I think if people get their act together and start to think as they should be thinking as responsible citizens, we will get to it. Now, the whole electoral process has been corrupted by all this money lying around. And this is the reason we are where we're going all through the Caribbean right now. We have people with large sums of money. And you remember in the old days, they used to say Verbird stayed in office in Antigua because for every $100 he stole, he gave away $10 to the masses to keep them happy. This is what's happening now. So when people take away millions,
but we don't know that.
The election time,
Mr. Myers, we don't know that to be true. Eh? We don't know that to be true at all.
What's that?
Whether
we don't know.
What you think about what happened in Antigua, we don't know that to be true at all.
No, I was just relating folklore out of Antigua.
All right.
That was the folklore at the time, right? And that was the story that was going on at the time, saying such and such and such and such. Now, it's a similar sense. If somebody's got a whole pool of money, which they got illegally, and they figure they can get it more by paying some more. If I get $1 billion, I will give away 100 million. What chance does anybody else have? The oppositions have no chance in this thing, simply because elections are called at the whim and fancy of the parties in office. And if the parties in office are not taking care of the treasury the way they should, they'll always be, all we'll do now is corrupting the population, the value system that's within the population, and we're racing our way to the bottom. The people are doing these things will soon all be dead. And we, and the honest people and their children and the children's children, will be left trying to pick up this thing. It's going to take a long time to clean up the mess that is going on, Tim. I'm only hoping that those people out there, a few people out there who understand what is going on, can join in the conversation and start to put things in place. You already said that Hilaire is out there now taking
Martinez.
that have been learned from, what's his name?
Martinez. Philip Martinez.
Etc. Yeah, Martinez. Repackaging it as recommendations to be implemented by a commission or some such thing. It all sounds very smart. It's very smart. But what we still need, an independent examination of that whole process, starting from the passports being issued by Canadian banknote in Canada and ending up in St. Lucia in the hands of other persons. This thing is far from over, and I would really like us to get to the bottom of it.
All right,
Thanks for your time, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Still to come, some more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages, and of course a few updates by Janté. Stay with the broadcast.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
Celebrate the extraordinary women in your life this Mother's Day at Bay Gardens Resorts. Join us on Sunday, May 11 for a day dedicated to honoring Mom. Choose from 3 spectacular celebrations. Treat Mom to the elegance of our Pretty in Petals event at Bay Gardens Marina Haven for EC $160 per person. Experience jazzy vibes and culinary excellence at our Jazzy Mother's Day brunch at the Bay Gardens Hotel and Inn. A perfect blend of entertainment and indulgence for EC $175 per person. Enjoy a toast to Mom at the Bay Gardens Beach Resort and Spa. An upscale afternoon tailored to your special lady for only EC $200 per person. Children ages 4 to 12 receive 50% off and children under 4 are absolutely free. Book by May 4th and receive a 10% discount on your entire reservation. For reservations and for more details, contact us at 457-8045 or send us an email at marketing@baygardensresorts.com. Create cherished moments this Mother's Day at Bay Gardens Resorts.
Hey there, Loose Select family. It's Malika, and today I've got a burning question. What's with the fuel surcharge?
Hey Malika, I'm Didi. Buckle up, because we're about to take a deep dive into the world of fuel surcharge. Alright? So Malika, fuel surcharge is all about the cost of fuel on the global market. It's a monthly thing, dancing to the tune of international fuel prices and our energy consumption.
Really?
So Malika, don't freak out, okay? Let's get into the math of how we calculate the surcharge. Imagine this. July's fuel cost is $11 per gallon, while last year's average was $10.50 a gallon. This is a difference of 50 cents. Now let's say we have a fuel consumption of 5,000 gallons and total unit sales of, let's say, 20,000 kilowatt hours. What we do, we multiply this 50 cents by the 5,000 gallons of fuel that we use for a grand total surcharge of $2,500. Then we divide the $2,500 by the 20,000 kilowatt hour unit sales. This gives us a net 12.5 cents per kilowatt hour. This is a surcharge applied to the electricity you use. And it isn't for Lucilec only. It's an international thing to keep things fair.
Thanks for the knowledge, Didi. Now I'm feeling charged up.
You got it, Malika? Keep those questions coming. We're here to keep you in the know.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Ouais, messie, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow. Si ten la pani pressure. Moi ni tank, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pump. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. You need tout pump pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. You need pli mer pour pump cette ici. You ka ranger pump aussi qui besoin service. Brand pump yo c'est Léo. Pump ça c'est Major. Ils bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Glo ka fonte. Europa ni pump glo Léo under pour les 9 juin et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452-0763.
Flow makes your next phone upgrade easy. Add postpaid to your internet plan and score a Samsung Galaxy for as low as $47 a month. It's the smartest way to an interest-free premium phone upgrade. Don't let anything stand between you and that new phone feeling. Step into your upgrade with confidence. Visit us in store and sign up today. We keep your rhythm flowing. Terms and conditions apply.
Every day, the pain is still there. Back, neck, shoulder, hip, chronic arthritis, pain down your leg to your toes, or heel pain when you put your foot on the ground. You've tried many things, but nothing works. Waiting will only make it worse. At La Clinique du Corps, we find the real cause of your pain using advanced MRI scans from head to toes with no radiation for more accurate results. Our specialist doctors provide faster diagnosis and effective treatment. Less pain, better movement, better life. All insurance is accepted. Call now before it gets worse. 451-6559, that's 451-6559, or WhatsApp 721-9950. WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique du Corps. Stop suffering. Start living.
Nightmeds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Nightmeds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
This is where it all begins. The dreams, the passion, the hunger to be great. Across St. Lucia, a new generation is rising. Faster, stronger, fearless. Introducing the Blackheart SL FAU 20 Knockout Football Tournament. Blackheart SL FAU 20 Knockout Football Tournament, where raw talent meets opportunity, where unknown names become household names, where the future of football takes center stage. From May 16th to June 13th, 19 leagues, 4 venues, 1 champion. Every pass, every goal, every moment, a step closer to greatness. Because this is more than a tournament. This is where future legends rise. Don't miss it. Come witness the next stars of St. Lucian football. The Blackheart SL FAU 20 Knockout Tournament, where future legends rise.
It's over 6 months. Cedar Heights, Cherry Street, Viewfort, missing street lights. Now Lucy Lake is not in charge. It's the ministry that's in charge. We have wrote, we have do everything, and nobody come in and put street lights for us. Okay? We are in total darkness. Cherry Street.
What street is that? What street?
Cherry Street.
Cherry.
Cedar Heights.
Cherry Street,
Cherry.
Cedar Heights. Okay.
Now they're telling me we have to go and look for a rep. I tell him when I apply for electricity, there was no rep in it. What rep have to do with that? Okay? We need street lights in Viewfort, Cherry Street, Cedar Heights. Come and change the board. They burn already. This is wickedness, team. All right. Goodbye.
Okay. Decide to repeat this contribution on behalf of the folks of Cherry Street over in VA4. And I suspect we'll continue to play it until the authorities provide you all with the street lights that you are clamoring for. Good afternoon to you again. Jean-T, let's find out what's happening in the chat rooms.
Good afternoon, Tim. Starting off on YouTube, our first comment reads, St. Lucia didn't have a weak opposition because UWP was never ready. This is the new legacy of St. Lucia, the now reward for my vote. We value our vote to gains. We have lost our power of being part of the island development and financial future. We love feds too much. Taxpayers have been paying the special prosecutor salary for years, and he has not produced not a peco. Mr. Special Prosecutor, please investigate what happened to the $27 million the Taiwanese gave to us. Another YouTube comment reading, there's no way the UWP can never win against the SLP gutter politics. The economies of all Caribbean countries except St. Lucia recorded growth in 2025, but the mood is red. Moving to Facebook, our first comment reads, he was sent to rev up by the SLP to soften the citizens as PJP looks to raise the price of fuel. Tell me how they should come back from 16-1. So why did you want to join that 16-1? We have another comment saying, because we're so shallow-minded and uneducated. Sadly. Well said, caller. They just need to change their approach and strategy. The current red governments are not that great. They have perfected this strategy to win and remain in power. Nothing else. A few comments here reading, opposition parties in the Caribbean will have difficulty winning elections because the governments in power have all access to the country's CIP funds and the other side does not. CIP funds are being used to fund elections. Lucians love band-aid solutions, free contracts for the rich or those who already have. The government is working. Another comment here reading, St. Rose thinks that UWP is afraid of him and his useless talk. I agree, caller. So UWP is responsible for removing years of ingrained love for corruption from St. Lucians? We have more comments from our Facebook page saying, Tim, St. Lucians like too many handouts. That's what they're voting for. No, Tim, that's not true. The people are suffering, so they will vote for things. Let Labour continue to squeeze the people, and you will see that 16-1 will transform to Labour in opposition. Just have patience. We have another comment here saying, Tim, politics is not a game. The opposition cannot overcome ignorance and systematic brainwashing. Tim, you cannot beat dark with darkness. Only light can do that. Another comment reading, Tim, you know the mentality of our people. The people have to make up their minds. We know cigarettes are bad for health, but some of us still smoke it anyways. And our final comment, once a minister or political hack falls sick is overseas, but the decks have to raise funds. Shaking my head.
Thank you so much, Shanti. Somebody says there via Facebook in the chat room, the mood is Fenway on Cherry Street. And that's according to a comment there in the chat room via Facebook. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, the notions are just a bunch of people who like to suffer and they don't want anything that is good if it doesn't have problems. They don't want it. They just like to feel pain. It's a sad state of affairs because they are supporting the government. They don't want to say anything that they are doing wrong. For them, everything is good and it cannot be bad. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. And somebody says that, Tim, as we draw to a climax of the Jazz and Arts Festival, I have two burning questions for the gatekeepers. One, after all those years, who owns the rights and control the royalties of the festival recordings, including audio/visual? Two, how many St. Lucian artists have been scouted by international organizations to score a record deal, mentoring, etc.? Food for thought. And let's see if we have some more. And somebody says there, I just want to remind and tell the people of St. Lucia that the NDP of St. Vincent was in opposition for 24 years. The NDP won the last election. Whenever SLP is in government, they destroy the hard work of the UWP and drag the country backwards. According to a WhatsApp message, some more of your messages. And somebody says there, why are the ruling parties winning? One, manipulation of state resources. Two, lack of or compromised campaign finance rules. Three, decaying moral standards where people trade their votes for pittance. Four, collusion with other stakeholders, example, labor unions, media houses. 5, manipulation of election date. 6, perpetuation of poverty and promotion of ignorance. 7, lack of vision, true aspirations by the people, thus allowing them to accept visionless leaders. Simply put, If we desire less of ourselves, so we get less from government. And the person continues, bravo to Mr. Myers. Another WhatsApp message, and it says there, I am overseas. I followed the UWP's campaigns during the last election. I liked their brilliant policies. I will be honest to state that their campaigns never commenced on time. On one occasion, the names of 2 candidates were called to address the gathering. However, they were not present. Tim, a weak opposition could contribute to a government winning an election. Impassable roads, lack of CIP reports, high crime rate, high fuel prices are matters which are of concern to the voters. An opposition party should give a government no peace, no rest. If an opposition party seldom holds protests, only press conferences, they are doomed to remain in opposition. And let's see if we have a call on the line. In the meantime, we have a WhatsApp message, and somebody says there, Tim, yesterday you said the cows are starving in VA4. Why don't the minister make some smoothies and juice and take down for them? And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. And that person says there, I agree with your last call about not ignoring people like Rijok. I would ask him when UWP was in office and Rijok made these corruption claims against Guy Joseph King and Chasney. Was he correct? Another one says, good afternoon. Mr. St. Rose was found out by the UWP, hence the reason he was rejected. His response to Andrew Paul's question of advising UWP of anything good for St. Lucian said it all. Had he been selected and lost, he would blame the party. He never had St. Lucians as a priority. Play the tape again. Let's see if we have some more of your messages. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, the Choiseul Solibus result deserves deeper reflection. Yes, the SLP candidate won the seat based on votes cast. But when the figures are compared to the total registered electorate, he received support from only about 25% of registered voters, meaning roughly 3 out of every 4 registered voters did not vote for him. Technically a victory, yes, but it also means he represents a minority of the total electorate with turnout below 50% and a margin of just 424 votes. The real political power in Choiseul Solibus may still lie with the silent voters who stayed home. Some more of your WhatsApp messages. I totally agree that the UWP has to do something different to win the election. However, hand-to-mouth, corruption, paying for votes with the people's money, etc., is not the way to go. I rather not vote. Another WhatsApp message. I believe the opposition should launch their candidates much earlier, like 3 years before the next election, giving the chosen candidates enough time to prove themselves to the people, because doing it a few months before elections isn't sufficient time. Another one says, Tim, you are correct. Happy birthday to the 106-year-old, but she's not the oldest. Eldika Nicholas at Labon Monchi is 111 years. Will be 112 in October this year, God willing. Wow, 111 years old. Okay, let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages. Let's see there. Somebody says, good afternoon. My question is, what actions can be taken to ensure that an outside entity not under the supervision of a political party can audit the Caribbean election process to determine whether there were fraudulent activities during elections, release that information to citizens, and take the necessary steps to prevent such activities? Because if something is not done, democracy within the Caribbean may be lost, with the same parties winning over and over again. Well, the outside entities you're calling to, as you said, audit the Caribbean election process. Well, you have monitors, and you normally have monitors from the Caribbean community, and you also have from the Commonwealth Secretariat as well. A WhatsApp message says there, okay, somebody says that, Tim, I'll be on island this August and I want a CD with all them tunes. We'll have to work on that. Okay, let's see there if we have some more of your messages. Any more WhatsApp messages? Somebody says that, Tim, are you aware that St. Rose holds dual citizenship, therefore was eligible to participate in our elections? Look it up. Another WhatsApp message. No matter what the shenanigans of the SLP, they can never have me stay home on election day. Again, according to a WhatsApp message, somebody says there, Tim, I do not think the opposition was weak at all. They got 12 new candidates, which is quite a feat in itself. They brought the issues to light weekly, and they had a great momentum building. However, the reality is it was not a fair election. We have to acknowledge the massive funds that the SLP pumped into engineering and swaying the votes. This is a major factor that needs further investigation. Until then, we cannot lay blame at the opposition or claim they were weak. Again, that's according to a WhatsApp message. Once again, the number to call, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Somebody says there, I had to laugh my heart out. My observation, the rat has eaten up all the cheese and now it's saying to get the trap. Just see if you can catch me. This is St. Lucian Ness. Well, okay, that will do it for our WhatsApp messages. Let me turn my attention. We have already gone through the NewsSpin question of the day. We also have coming up our NewsSpin news of the day, so please stand by. We're due for a commercial break. Please stay with us.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
Every day, the pain is still there. Back, neck, shoulder, hip, chronic arthritis, pain down your leg to your toes, or heel pain when you put your foot on the ground. You've tried many things, but nothing works. Waiting will only make it worse. At La Clinique du Corps, we find the real cause of your pain using advanced MRI scans from head to toes with no radiation for more accurate results. Our specialist doctors provide faster diagnosis and effective treatment. Less pain, better movement, better life. All insurances accepted. Call now before it gets worse. 451-6559, that's 451-6559, or WhatsApp 721-9950. WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique du Corps. Stop suffering. Start living.
The St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival 2026. Feel the rhythm at World Beats. Saturday, May 9th, Pigeon Island. Global Afrobeat sensation, Thames. Princess Lover, X-Man, Blue City, October 4, and Ella May. Ella May.
You know that bartender, I pour a drink, a movie on to entertain. I'm down to do the
Online tickets available at stluciajazzandartsfestival.com.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time? Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road V4 at 454-6555.
Stop paying full price. With Flow, you can slash your bill in half. You heard right. Cut your mobile bill in half when you add mobile to internet. That's the most reliable Wi-Fi at home. Plus, all the data you need on the go. So don't wait. Double your connection and double your value for half the price. Add mobile to internet today. Visit in-store or online at discoverflow.co for more details.
Ouais, messieurs, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow. Si ten la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, me money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. You need toute pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. You need pli mer pour pomme cette ici. You ka ranger pomme aussi qui besoin service. Prendre pompe yo c'est Léo. Pompe ça c'est major. I bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Glo ka fante. Europa ni pompe glo Léo en pour les 9 juin et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452-0763.
Bob and Dave were very proud to buy their mom a new energy-saving fridge with lots of smart settings. They remember the old ways of energy saving. Mom always said, "Close the fridge, you're wasting current." Smart advice then, smart advice now. Close the fridge, you're wasting current. Saving energy is what's smart.
Art in the City is back, rooted in culture, bold in expression. Brought to you by the Cultural Development Foundation. On Friday, April 17th, the celebration begins in Beaufort. Art in the Street at the New Market Complex from 10 a.m., followed by readings and rhythms at 7 p.m. On April 24th and 25th, indulge in the Icon Series, 4-course gala dinner at Sandals Grand, honoring culinary master Edward Chef Harry Joseph. On April 26th and 27th, theater lovers gather at Warehouse 11 for Don't Call Me Baby Doll, written and directed by Travis Weeks. Or head to the Caribbean Cinemas for screenings from the Jumpstart Film Project. From April 27th to May 16th, experience Life in Color, a visual arts exhibition at the Audi Showroom and Orange Grove Plaza, featuring works by St. Lucian master artists. On April 28th, the stage comes alive at Sandals Grand with 10 to 1, the Mighty Sparrow musical, produced by Raul Gibbons and directed by Louis McWilliams. On May 1st, journey to Ancillary for Fish Friday, an evening evening of storytelling with George Fish Alphonse and Kidel Sonny. May 2nd and 3rd experience Triptych, directed by Kendall Hippolyte and Warehouse 11. On Monday 4th, feel the power of poetry at Voices of the Underground, featuring world-renowned dub poet Linton Kwesi Johnson. From May 5th to 7th, Artscape concerts pop up in unexpected spaces, dance, theater, music, and on May 7th and 8th, discover handcrafted treasures at T-Tax ABC, Craft and Souvenir Market. On the Rodney Bay Strip, Art in the City 2026, rooted in culture, bold in expression.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Somebody says via WhatsApp, Tim, your fans miss you throughout the weekend and want the weekend to end just to listen to the most monitored talk show in the world. Our politicians depend on your show to help them fix the issues, so they miss you as well. I think if they had a chance, they would call you privately for advice. Our Prime Minister sure needs some help before our country gets worse. Have a great weekend. I will miss you. Well, always looking forward to the rest for during the weekend, because certainly it takes a toll hosting a program of that nature. But I understand what you're saying when you say that you missed the broadcast over the weekend. Who knows? In time to come, we might have a NewsSpin broadcast every day of the week. I wonder if that will be possible. I think it's possible. But maybe on the weekend we might have some other hosts. Maybe we'll have Jante hosting on a weekend very soon. Let's see if we have some more of your messages. What are you saying there? I don't think we have any more. Jante, what's happening in the chat room?
Starting off on YouTube, we have a comment saying, how you mean UWP will never win against SLP? It can happen. Fair elections, my people. How can a product such as passports be the property of a foreign company like Galaxy? Caller, also don't forget Uncle Forbes Burnham told us years ago, it doesn't matter who votes. It matters who counts the votes. Another YouTube comment reading, the special prosecutor should investigate the CIP as a matter of priority. SLP has always been encouraging St. Lucians to vote against progress in the country. When UWP built the San Souci housing project, they told people not to buy the houses. SLP opposed the development of Rodney Bay and the building of the Pigeon Island Causeway, so their heads have always been empty and they have never had a vision for this country. On Facebook, we have a comment saying, the nastiness that the SLP government is doing there is not politics. It's taking over a country. That's all it is. Ma'am, you should have made that call before elections. Your street light would have been replaced. St. Lucia is a mess. We have another comment saying, caller, wait for the election campaign. And lack of political education. I don't know why Lucians love suffering under this SLP government. Why? A few comments here reading, okay, it's time to stop that cow talk. The owner of the cow is happy with the condition of his cows. Yet, you all are there worrying about the cows. We, the UWPs, don't care about those rejects and their opinions. Why was the UWP their first choice to run for? So true, exactly, Tim. We have another comment reading, yes, investigations really do need to be done, or else it's a rinse and repeat in the Caribbean with these elections. Dual citizenship prevents you from holding office in St. Lucia. Can those who gain citizenship through the CIP vote? Well said, writer. We have more comments from our Facebook page saying, Tim, that's a fact. Great WhatsApp message. How many of them have voted, that being CIP citizens, without physically being here? Who knows? Some people who don't know why UWP lost the election are the ones speaking. We have another comment saying, for real, do we as citizens ever get answers? The answer to these questions has become, that's not your business, or I'm not wasting my time to answer that, shaking my head. St. Lucians will pay for this nonsense that they support and promote. Very true, writer. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Jante, for that final update. Finally, from us, we have our NewsSpin News of the Day. The NewsSpin News of the Day reads, given the incubation period of the hantavirus, which can be up to 6 weeks, it is possible that more cases may be reported, and that is according to the World Health Organization. So according to the World Health Organization, given the incubation period of the hantavirus, which can be up to 6 weeks, it is possible that more cases may be reported. That's your NewsSpin News of the Day. That's the broadcast for today and this week. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the world's most monitored talk show. Don't forget, please, to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the NewsSpin channel grow. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back, God willing, on Monday afternoon at 12:30. Goodbye.